Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's paper crafting video, I am playing with some amazing new embossing powders from Wow. I'm actually hopping along with them for their newest release. There is some giveaways going on, so make sure you check out the description box below. And now I'm going to show you these new embossing powders. These are the pastel gemstone powders. They're amazing. You can see that it's not just one color in there. This is the blue Adventurine powder. I am using the Wow embossing ink refill there, rubbing that on some paper to swatch it out so I can get a feel for what these powders look like. Now you can see there's like a bluish color and the gold flecks are like suspended in the powder. It's so cool. This is Rose Quartz. I am swatching this one out as well the same exact way. All of these powders are new to me and they're so unique that I wanted to swatch them out so I can see what they look like. I'm going to put them on a little ring and then I'll have all my Wow powders on a ring. That makes me happy. All right, then we have our yellow amber and we're swatching that out as well. My squares are about 2 inches by 2 inches and I did put them on some heavyweight cardstock for this so that they can withstand being, moved around a lot. So there is the yellow with the gold flecks in there. I love that it's inspired by gemstones. There's all three of them in this collection together. And here is another powder I'll be using today. This is Rock Rebel powder. Now let's say you were going to stamp a solid circle image and emboss it with this powder. It would look like a rock when you were done. Like it has the texture and the variation in color of a rock. So cool. So I'm going to be using this today too. It's also a little sparkly. Yeah, very cool. Rock Rebel powder. Now I'm bringing in the Lots of Hearts stencil and I will be stenciling this onto a panel that measures 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. It's going to be the card front for my mini slimline Valentine card. To ink this up, I'm using Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink, and there it is, all finished and ready to go. I'm going to let that kind of dry for a minute while I stamp out and emboss some hearts. This is the new Layered Hearts stamps. I am actually just using, I'm not going to layer them, but I am just using this solid, most plain heart to emboss with these powders. So here's the Rose Quartz heart, just like you saw me do with my little swatch there, but it's hard to see maybe on screen how these powders really are so cool because like it looks like those gold pieces are like floating in the powder. It's amazing. So cool. I think this one's my favorite though. That color, that teal, soft teal color is like my favorite. I love it. So I thought these were so pretty and I like kind of like the pastel colors for Valentine's Day with gray. I think that's so pretty. All right, so now I cut out all three of these hearts to get them ready to go on the card. But before I do that, this is what I decided I wanted to do with that Rock Rebel powder. I am brushing my embossing pad ink on the edge of this paper and then putting on that powder. So it's just going to have this kind of playful, not symmetrical edge with like this hint of powder. It's almost, this powder is almost like splatter in an embossing powder form, and I love splatter on my cards, so I totally enjoyed playing with this. I think it's a really cool addition to my embossing powder collection that's different than anything I have. These powders are so unique and different, not just your basic solid color. They have so much variation in them. So there that is, kind of cool. All right, now I have some die cut words. This is the word love. I pulled out this little die from my stash that I had never used, and I used that to cut coordinating, not matching, but coordinating colors. They're just a tiny bit darker, so they really pop off of that heart. I am sticking them onto my card base with some foam squares so they stick up off the paper, and I decided to put the middle one on first and then put on the other two. That might help me space them out better. This is going onto a mini slimline card, which was a 6x6 piece of paper that I scored at 3 inches and folded on that scored line. Now I am adding some embellishments to this to finish it off. These have a little bit of an iridescent shine to them with a flat back, and I just thought they would be really pretty to add on for an embellishment to this card. I think it's such a fun card. I love doing Valentine cards for just anybody in my life and making them a little bit less Valentine looking, less traditional. Okay, let's move on to card number 2 and 3 more new powders. These are the Party Pop powders, and brace yourself. These are so bright and so cool. They have chunks of like gold and white in them, and they just look amazing when you emboss them. They really pop. I mean, that white almost looks like popcorn in there. It's so cool. So here's a teal color. So we've got the pink, the teal, and the yellow again, but these are bright colors. And again, it just looks like those flecks are floating on top. It's really amazing powder. The pink, so bright and so amazing looking with the gold in it. I'm so impressed. So now I have my 3 swatches of these Party Popper powders. Say that 3 times. And they'll add onto my little chain, my little ring of powders. So now I am doing a different heart from the same stamp set, embossing those with these 3 powders for my second card. Look at that. So amazing. There's all 3 of them cut out and ready to go. For this background, I'm using a different stencil this time, more hearts. I love heart stencils. They make such great backgrounds. And this one, I am using the embossing pad direct to the paper, and I will emboss with it. It will look so cool with this neutral ultra shimmer powder. I just love having a clear embossing powder with glitter in it. I think this one is gorgeous, and it looks so good on this sprinkled with hearts stenciled background. Watch when we heat it up how cool it looks. It's like magic. I mean, embossing is one of the very first techniques I learned as a paper crafter, and it's still magical. Now this stencil was a little bit smaller than my 3 3/4 by 5 3/4 inch panel, so I found some glitter paper in my stash and put that about a 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bigger, strip of paper across the top and the bottom for a fun little border. And now I will add on these 3 hearts again with some foam squares right down the middle, and so it's kind of, you know, very similar to the other card I made, and yet oh so different. I'm adding 1 die cut word love to this one, cut from that same glitter paper, and man is this card sparkly and shiny and so bold. I love it. I'm putting this one on a white card base, also 6 by 6, scored at 3 inches, and then I found some super bright embellishments in my stash and added them to this card. I have pink and yellow and teal, and they just look so cool on this card. So there is my gems all added, and then let's take a close-up look. So gorgeous. Okay, I'm in love with these powders, and I think you are going to love all of the new things in this release too. So make sure you hop along with us. You can follow along our hashtag, and the next video in the hop is linked for you at the top of the description box below, as well as all the details on our giveaway here on our YouTube hop and on our Instagram hop. I'll have a link for that for you below, and you can check out the WOW store for these new great embossing powders and supplies. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe. I have new videos all the time, and I'll see you on the next one. Happy stamping! Bye!